Let's talk to a man that was at that meeting, Congressman Steve Scalise, a Republican out of Louisiana. So, Congressman, first off, when you left that meeting, did you have a feeling when you looked left and looked right with the people you were with that there was a reason for optimism?
You know, there's always a reason for optimism, and I'm a glass-half-full person. But clearly, look, there are real big differences between us and the president on real policy, and it was good that we finally started talking about some of those differences.
All right, those differences being he does not want anything with the clean CR, we know that, and he also wants the debt ceiling raised. Where did you see give on the president? Where did he sense that maybe you had something?
Well, you know, he did agree that we would have conversations through the night, and I think both the Speaker's office and the White House staff had some conversations through the night, and we're going to see where those went today. But look, we hadn't talked yet about all of this. We've been trying to have a sit-down conversation to start talking about our differences, and I'm glad we finally started that yesterday. But clearly there's a lot more we need to sit down and resolve on spending and on long-term debt.
The president indicated that he would be into maybe a short-term raising of the debt for 3 to 6 weeks. Did he reiterate that again at the meeting?
You know, we talked about that. We said we want to get a long-term agreement, too. I want to see our economy get back on track, and there are a lot of things in both the spending and the funding of government that have been holding our economy back, and we want to address those issues, and we also want to get a hold of the long-term spending so we don't have to keep borrowing $700–800 billion each year.
So, Congressman, we know that. However, you're not going to settle that in a day or two. What would you say would be a pathway towards tax reform, deficit reduction that would allow people to start getting paid again and that debt ceiling to go up again?
Well, it means we're going to have more real conversations about how we resolve our differences. I think most people know we've got a divided government. We've got a Democrat White House and Senate. We've got a Republican House and a divided country on a lot of issues. And so we've got to really sit down and talk about how we come to an agreement on the areas where we disagree. And they're real serious policy disagreements. You know, but we had to start talking, and yesterday was that first day.
Harry Reid said
a lot more of those.
Harry Reid came out and said, "I feel bad for Republicans. They don't even know what they want. They're so divided on their requests." Would you characterize yourselves as divided?
Not at all. In fact, if you look at the bills we've passed, Brian, we've passed 18 different bills to fund all or parts of the government just in the last 2 weeks. Harry Reid has deep-sixed a lot of those. He was chided by the D.C. mayor just 2 days ago on the Capitol steps because we passed a bill to fund the District of Columbia, some area where we should have agreement. It's a heavy Democrat district. This isn't a partisan issue, yet Harry Reid is trying to hold them hostage, too. So I think you saw the D.C. mayor taking Harry Reid to task for playing these partisan games, and it's got to break. You know, we should be not holding anybody hostage. You make sure that if a family of a troop dies overseas, my goodness, shouldn't we be able to get at least agreement that their family gets their death benefits? And so we've passed bills to address a lot of those issues, and they've been bipartisan votes in the House, and we've been unified in the House at trying to get this resolved. And, you know, the other side is going to need to sit down and talk with us about those differences to get it worked out.
All right, Congressman Steve Scalise, who was in meeting with the president yesterday and knows we're finally talking to each other. That's a good sign. Congressman, thanks so much.
Thanks, Brian.